graph the parabola. Now, this graphing can come with in vertex form or the standard form. If you get a standard form, you can always calculate the vertex the way we did just the last question. But since this one is a vertex form, already vertex is given. So vertex x value is opposite of what is given, so it will be 1. And the k value is -4. So that is the vertex for this question. So vertex is x value 1, y value -4. So this is the vertex. So you can just take the point in your graph in Alex, and you can write the point x is 1 and y is -4. Alex will draw the point for you. Also, you will see this question will, you need 2 points on the left side of the vertex and 2 points on the right side of the vertex. The reason is vertex cuts the parabola into half. So vertex is the one gives us the axis symmetry in parabola. So x equals 1 will have the axis symmetry for this parabola. So now for the rest part, we just take 2x value and 2y value. So x, if we take x equals 0, if we write x 0 here, then 3 times 0 minus 1 square minus 4. So -1 square is +1. 3 times 1 is 3 minus 4 is -1. So this point will be 0, -1. So you will draw another point using the Alex plotting point. So you will get a point here. Then you can take x equals -1. And instead of 0, now you will plug -1 here. So -1 is -2. -2 square is +4. 3 times 4 is 12. Minus 4 is 8. So you will get -1, 8, which is this point here. So we get y value 8 and the point will be -1, 8. Then 2 point we will take right side of the vertex. So we can take 2. And if you plug 2 minus 1 is 1. 1 square times 3 plus minus 4 will give you -1. So this is another point. And if you take, so this will be -1, 2, -1. Last point, if we take x value 3, if you calculate the y value, you will see the answer is 8. So the point will be 3, 8. So 3 and then 8 is here. Then you just take the graphing tool and you draw the parabola here. Question number 10. A ball is thrown upward. After t seconds, its height h in feet is given by the function h of t equals 64 minus 16t squared. What is the maximum height that the ball will reach? Simply just think, if you are throwing a ball standing somewhere, the ball will go up and then eventually it will come to the ground. And what you are looking for, what is the maximum height the ball will reach? So the graph will be like a parabola. You can see you are looking for the vertex. Now, which value of the vertex? X value or y value? This is what is the maximum height? Means the height you are looking for, and height is the y value here. So you are looking for y value. So you have to understand that. If it says when it will reach to the maximum height, then you are looking for the x value of the vertex. Now we are ready to start. So this is the function given. A is negative 16 and B is 64. First, we have to calculate the x value of the vertex, which is negative b over 2a. So that will be negative 64. That's the b is given 64 over 2 times a is negative 16. So we have negative 64 in the numerator, and denominator we have 2 times negative 16, which is negative 32. And negative 64 divided by negative 32 gives us 2. So after 2 seconds, it will reach to its maximum height. Now we have to use the given function. So when the t value is 2, that time it will reach to its maximum height. So we are looking for h of 2, which is 64 times 2, and then minus 16 times 2 square. Okay, so if you simplify this, you will see the answer is 64 feet. So the height of the ball, highest height of the ball after 2 seconds, it will be 64 feet. That is the answer for this question. Question number 11. Graph all the vertical and horizontal asymptotes of the rational function. Vertical asymptote we get by solving the denominator for 0. So denominator is given 2x plus 7. We'll solve that one for 0. That equation will give us the vertical asymptote. So we will subtract 7 both sides. We have 2x equals negative 7. Then you divide both sides by 2. So x equals negative 7 over 2, or negative 3.5 is the vertical asymptote. So vertical asymptote is negative 3.5. You just take the Alex tool to draw this vertical asymptote. Next is horizontal asymptote. To calculate the horizontal asymptote, we take the leading term from the numerator and leading term from the denominator. Then we solve y equals, if the x, after you simplify this, if the x left in the denominator, then y equals 0 is the horizontal asymptote. So the x-axis is the horizontal asymptote. When you solve this and x left in the numerator, then no horizontal asymptote. If nowhere x left, just a constant value, then y equals, that will be the horizontal asymptote. So 3 different scenario you can have when you have your function. Awesome. Let's look at the last question. Ella is walking. D of t given below is her distance. So D represents her distance in kilometers. T represent the time she walked. So hours of walking. So the distance is 12.8 minus 4 times the hour she walked. Complete the following statement. Let D inverse. So they are talking about the inverse function of the given function. So they are talking about the D inverse. So D inverse is the inverse function of D. Take X to be an output for the function D. Okay. So inverse function, we know from the original function, X value becomes the Y value of the inverse function, and Y value of the original function becomes the X value of the inverse function. So let's see which one explains the scenario better, which statement describes the D inverse X. So it's not the ratio, it's not the reciprocal, it tells the relation between them. So the amount of time she walked in hours when she is X kilometer from the Glen City. I told you the time becomes the output or the Y value of, Y value of the inverse function. So the X is the input of the inverse function, which will tell us the distance. So X kilometers of Glen City, that it explains, that tells us this is the answer of this statement. Why not the last one? Because it explains her distance from the Glen City in kilometer after she walks the X hours. But the X is the distance in the inverse function. So this cannot be the answer. So answer is this one. I hope this makes sense. Now, they are asking to find the inverse function. As I said, for the original function, the Y we write as X and the X we write as Y. So our Y for this one, let me write somewhere else because I wrote too big. So D of t becomes X, 12.8 minus our t will become the D. And then we will solve for D, this question, to get our answer. So we will subtract 12.8 both sides. So X minus 12.8, that will be negative 4 times D. Then we'll divide both sides by negative 4. So the inverse function will be X minus 12.8. Sorry. This is not equal, this is minus. Divided by negative 4. So that is the inverse function. The next question is the inverse function you are evaluating when the X becomes 8.4. So that will be 8.4 minus 12.8 divided by negative 4. And if you do that, the answer you will end up with 1.1.